Well, hello everyone. Today I decided to make something different than the videos you are used to. See, I have been asked more than once what is my creative process to make or color artwork, the artwork that I have been showing both on Enhanced Reality, my fan fiction that I have retaken very lately. There are new chapters for you to read, and also about my first original novel, which is the Black Butterfly. So you know that I was an illustrator before becoming a writer. So I need to put on paper what I'm typing about. So I decided to make this quick tutorial for you to learn a bit more about coloring comic books. So we will start here. This is Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. It's the best tool. If you can get it licensed or rent it per month, it's the best tool I can recommend for coloring artwork. So the way I do it, I draw by hand, I scan my artwork, and then when I have cleaned it up on Photoshop here, how do I clean art? Let's see. Usually I use, this is the standard menu, so I go to Image, Adjustments, Curves. It's a very good way to clean artwork because probably the original one might look like something like this. So by playing with the curve, I can make the lines look more defined and the whites even whiter. So anyway, I have my piece of art here ready to be colored, and I don't know if you know the basics of Photoshop, but Photoshop mostly works with layers. So the thing is, if you put layers on top of the drawing and you start coloring it, if you don't set the properties of the layer correctly, you might color on top of the lines, which is something that is not very useful. So we have background, which is the layer, the main one, and it has a lock. We click on the lock and we turn it into layer 0. Then later we can create new layers here. Okay, this is the toolbox. This is like your little bag of pencils and markers where all the tools for coloring are, and this is the layer small window. Then you have history. History lets you know all the process, everything you have been doing to the drawing. So we go back to layers. Actually, every time you are missing tools on the interface screen, you can go back to window and you can tick or untick what you want to see on the screen. So anyway, you add a layer on top. You can move layers. This is going to be the background. You double click on it and you set names for them. This is for you to be more organized. And let's remove the background from RoboCop and Lewis. Right here we have the magic wand tool. We also have the quick selection tool. Mind you, those, you have to choose the right layer, most important. So you have this quick selection tool or the magic wand. Those work with tolerance to colors. For example, I have a tolerance of 10 here. I can, for example, set it to 30, and then it will probably get a range of whites. Right now I don't have colors, but if I had colors, a tolerance of 30, for example, will get me more blues in a screen. Let's do it here, for example. Tolerance 30. Let's see. It tries to choose everything that has brown on it or detects it as such. But if I remove the tolerance to 10%, for example, the tolerance of tones is very, very small. Okay. When you have an active selection, you can't color or do anything else to the drawing. So you might go to select, deselect. Okay, then we go back to Robo and Lewis. Right here we have some extra spaces that we need to select as well. We press Shift. We select all the areas. When you press Shift, you get this plus sign. And now we're ready to remove the background from Robo and Lewis. Right here, if I do it, the lines will be rough. So we need to give some softening to them. So we go to Select and Mask. We go to Smooth. I like 3%. We go OK. Then we press Delete on the keyboard. And Robo and Lewis don't have a background anymore. Then we go deselect. Now, oh, I forgot this little bit. Same thing. We delete it. We deselect. Now we have them ready. Let's add a random color in the background so we can see how we're doing. Right here we have the paint bucket tool. Remember, we can move between layers like this, or with the move tool, we can right click and choose the layer we're going to work on. We go back to background, we go to paint bucket tool, and we add a color right here, opacity 100%. So this layer is independent. Okay, whatever I do on this layer won't affect the drawing. So we have layer 0 here. Let's add 3 more layers and let's give them names. For example, skin, Robo colors, details. Right here, if I want to make a skin tone, I can either mix it, double clicking on the color picker, however, if I'm not satisfied and I already have another drawing or a photo where I can copy it from, I can go to the other drawing. I can use the eyedropper tool, click, trying to get a nice color. Remember, this drawing is finished, so it has been shadowed, so not all tones are the same. So we go back and we have a skin color. Let's make it a bit lighter. Then we go with the magic wand again. We go back to the original layer. This is very important because if we try to select something here, remember this is an empty layer. You won't select anything. So you have to go back to the original layer where the drawing is. You select, Shift, everything that needs skin color. Okay, I know what happened here. Let's start with their faces. We go to skin, we move to the skin layer, and we add the color. However, we might have done something wrong here because we colored almost on top of the original lines, and this doesn't look too good because the layer is set to normal. Right here we can choose the properties of the layer. We're going to choose multiply. Multiply makes the color transparent. That way we can color on top of the original lines and they won't disappear. Zoom out and let's see what the problem is with the hand. We go back to layer 0 and we realize that the hand must be open, the original lines. What can we do here? The drawing is already scanned, so we can manually, if you have a good wrist strength, you can try to, okay, we can use here the different types of pencil. We use the hard round one, we make it small, and we try to close, but it's still too thick, the lines. Remember, this was done by hand, so we're only human. Okay, probably 2 point. Okay, let's see. It's still open. There are many areas that are open. If you can correct this before scanning the drawing, it's much better. But right now, what else can I do but trying to close the drawing this way? I'm not vectoring this, so this is like my irregular hand lines with a pen. Okay. There we go. We have the hand now. We're going to add color. But what did I do wrong? I missed the color, right? I have to go back and select the color again. And we add the color on the skin. There we go. Now let's color RoboCop. We can use the quick selection tool and try to select his armor. Right here we can use less, subtract from the selected area. We can use the plus. We can make the size of the tool bigger. And right here, we're going to make a color. Let's start with blue color. We go back to Robo colors. We add multiply. And there you go. We have blue color for RoboCop. Basically, this is how you color artwork, comic books. You separate per layers, and then each layer will contain a color. that prevents that, for example, let's say I do this and you think that I already ruined the skin color, but if I use the eraser, remember, they are in separate layers, so one doesn't affect the other one. So with a bit of patience, if you like this kind of work, you can have a finished piece in probably, I don't know, a couple of hours, maybe less of a day. It depends how much you know about Photoshop. At the very end, okay, at the very end, you will add shadows. For example, let's add shadows to I will say the armor, and I look for a darker blue. I go back to the brush and I can start adding shadowing. If it's too dark, I can resort to the eraser to lower the opacity of it until we start getting the effect we want. So this is going to take me a while to finish, but thank you so much for watching, and I hope this tutorial was useful to you guys, and stay tuned because I will keep on uploading interesting content